Hey, welcome back. Let's get to this shite video about voting with Jelloapocalypse.
This is a message for my American viewers. Vote. Vote, vote, vote. Vote on Tuesday, November the 6th. Vote now, if you can. Get your friends to vote. Get your family to vote. Get everyone you know to vote.
And for the most part, this is correct. I have nothing wrong with it. But as we go through, we'll see why you're choosing a blue background. So let's continue.
Vote even if they shut down your usual polling place.
Okay, let's take a closer look at this. Local officials say they need to close 7 polling places because they aren't accessible to people with disabilities. The ACLU says that doesn't make sense. I wouldn't trust the ACLU. They said that Pepe was a racist meme. And polling is supposed to have equal accessibility to everyone. So it does 100% make sense. And one of the problems the ACLU has with it is that it's discriminatory against blacks. Does that mean that blacks are less smart than white people? Just because white people live there doesn't mean that's discriminatory towards blacks. It would have to then also be against whites. I have 1 polling place around me. This is not discrimination. A lot of people have to go a long ways just to vote. You can also get an absentee ballot. There's a lot of things that you can do. This is no way disenfranchisement. But again, I have 1 place I can vote legally.
Vote even if your polling place was moved unreasonably far away.
Just like the last one, this is nothing. This is not voter suppression.
Vote even if they make it hard. Vote even if you need to skip work. Those few hours of wages aren't worth your country being an unsafe place for you and your family.
I agree with you on this. Once again, the blue background is a little bit sketchy, but you do have the legal right to take time off to vote. You legally have that right. So I would suggest you take it.
Vote even if you think they'll throw your vote away.
You're making this look as if only one party is having this happen. Both are having it happen. This is just glitches in the system, the same one that was happening with Clinton versus Trump, and it happening to Trump voters. So to all voters out there, just make sure you got who you picked. Look over everything. Because the government is not out to get you or steal your vote.
Vote even if you think it's rigged.
Stop it with the Russia hacked anything. There has been no proof. And any kind of interference was, 6,000 ads? Which we don't even know if it changed anyone's minds. This should never have been brought up. And from what I've heard, the Miller investigation is just going to end after the election.
Vote even if you think your vote doesn't matter.
And remember that the popular vote means nothing. I'm trying to keep this short, but the Republic is for the small person, the minority, so that the majority doesn't screw them out of all of their things. Like California and New York, where the educated are told the lies like you are putting, and how much of a horrible person and or a Nazi you are for believing in anything Trump says.
Because it does. Because the only way to guarantee that your vote won't count is not to vote. Democracy isn't about waiting for someone else to change things when things are so obviously wrong. Democracy is about waiting for you and your voice. Vote.
I do agree with him. You should vote. But you should be informed, and this whole thing is basically bullshit. And remember, we are not a democracy, we are a constitutional republic. Mainly because the founding fathers knew that democracy was mob rule, and that different values are for different people.
Don't vote for a color. Don't vote for a party. Vote for the people who will help other people. Because that's what a government is for. Helping people.
But yeah, don't vote colors. But the government isn't for helping people. It's for making sure that the laws are followed through.
Read about your candidates and vote for the people you can trust. Look up who they really are, and read about what they've really done. You might be surprised.
Yeah, you should do that and read them, and not just put clickbait headers that are actually wrong and are refuted within the article. And don't make a biased vote for the Democrats thing in an attempt.
If you voted for the current administration because you genuinely thought they would really help America, that's fine. That's what you should always do. Your vote and your voice matter. But don't be afraid to look at our country now and reconsider.
It's okay that you voted Hitler. Just stop. And I've gotta look at these three and tell you why you're wrong. Let's look at this first one, shithole countries. There are shithole countries. There are countries that are worse than us. Some people would say America is a shithole country. And they are in their right to say that. Trump touts Puerto Rico response as fantastic despite nearly 3,000 dead. Our response was fantastic. Puerto Rico was not. They had, 300,000, 30,000 water that was sent there, and they did literally nothing with it, and all the bottles, which had BPA, basically rotted. The US's response is fantastic. Even though 3,000 died, there was only so much we can do. Most of it was on Puerto Rico, not the US. I'm not even sure what you're complaining about here. And then the last one, Trump defends white nationalist protesters, some very fine people on both sides. Okay, not everyone at the Charlottesville protest was a white nationalist. There were white nationalist doctors. There were non-white nationalists there. There were also doctors. And Antifa also has mainly bad people in it. They were actually starting the fights, and were causing a lot of damage and became a riot. And even them, they had very fine people on them. I don't know what part of that you don't understand. Both sides have evil, both sides have good. This isn't fucking black and white.
There's nothing wrong with having backed the wrong horse.
Like I said before, it's okay you voted wrong. Now's your chance to change it. That's just some bullshit. And it isn't a transgender military ban. And what is really going in? The new memorandum says that transgender individuals with a history of gender dysphoria are barred from military service, except under certain limited circumstances. So the only people affected are mentally ill people who need help. You can't get in if you have autism, flat foot, any kind of physical illness. I had a friend who committed suicide because he had too much acne and he couldn't get in. This is not a trans ban. And this is all coming from your source, which you did not fucking list. I had to find it. Gender dysphoria. The experience of distress or discomfort as a result of disparity between a person's biological sex, assigned at birth, and what they feel their gender to be. So someone being mentally unstable should not be in the battlefield. This is a mental illness ban that has always been there. They just added to it. The new policy approved by President Trump allows current transgender service members with gender dysphoria to continue serving if they were diagnosed after the Obama administration policy took effect. So you can still be in it if you're already in it. This is not anti-anything besides mental health. And not to mention that transgender suicide is high.
There is something wrong with seeing that.
U.S. to pull out of Unesco again. Worried about past dues and what it calls an anti-Israel bias. Isn't they Israeli Jews? And who cares if he did this, because even Obama was stopping money from going there. It seems to be corrupt, and it seems to be holding us back. I don't see any problem with this.
Horse running towards a cliff and refuse.
Yeah, the Paris Accord, the thing that made it to where China and many other places signed a pact to where they were able to make more pollution. Even CNBC, which is anti-Trump, the first problem with the Paris deal is that, like the OPEC production quota, is really hard to enforce and cheating is likely to be rampant, and it is rampant from what we have seen. As many experts analyzing the agreement have noted, there are no explicit enforcement mechanisms in the accord. They're all talk, no bite. So nothing would happen to a country that even just ignored what it was supposed to do. That leaves the countries that are more likely to adhere to the climate deal rules, like the US, which we are, at a distinct economic and political disadvantage. And let's say that man-made climate change is 100% the reason. We're already dead. There is literally nothing we can do. We have to go carbon negative, and seeing even one video from YouTube, we're screwed. There's nothing we can do. We cannot slow it down. We have passed the threshold of death. So at this point, it doesn't matter. It has nothing to do with Trump.
To get off. just because it's your horse.
Trump's white nationalist pipeline. People I don't like the person I don't like. That's all you have. And you have extremists on your side. Mainly Antifa. You have Black Panthers. You really have illegal immigrants. You just have a lot of shit on your side, too. And Antifa is a terrorist organization. This is not an argument, man.
Vote. Vote as though children are being separated from their parents at the border.
Obama did this too. Clinton did this too. Obama was only more lax on it, and Donald Trump is less lax on it. He's more strict. Now, if you want to say, oh, Trump's doing it now, the immigrants shouldn't be fucking doing this illegally. Oh, they're seeking asylum. They're seeking financial asylum. There's a difference. It is legal for them to seek asylum, but they aren't. They're crossing illegally. You can seek asylum at the border at certain checkpoints. And you should be happy this is happening, because there's a lot of human trafficking. Sexual trafficking. There's just a lot of shit that's going on. People are not having the IDs or any kind of proof that the child belongs to them. And if you commit a crime, your child will be taken away from you. It happens to Americans all the time. CPS, Child Protective Services. Having a dirty house could have CPS called on you and you could lose your kids. And what was it? 80% of immigrants, of women immigrants, get raped? It could have been 60, I'm gonna look at it right now. And they know they are going to do it. Some say 60, some say 80, but they're also taking birth control, so when they do get raped, they don't get pregnant.
Vote as though it's your child being separated from you.
If you commit a crime, you should not get to keep your kids if it's something like that. Risking them getting raped alongside you is not good parenting. Endangering your life and your child's life is not good parenting. This is emotional bullshit, and you know it.
Vote like trans people are being erased from the census and being told they do not exist.
Trump is not gonna fucking Thanos anyone. At most, sex means a person's status as male or female based on immutable biological traits identifiable by or before birth. That isn't making sure you cannot be trans. All it's doing is the legal definition of sex is the definition of sex. Trans people are not being erased out of existence. And that's all this is doing. Is taking the definition of sex and making it legal. You can still become trans. Trans is not gender, it is male or female. Trans is transitioning from one to the other. And the sex listed on the person's birth certificate as originally issued shall constitute definitive proof of a person's sex unless rebutted by reliable genetic evidence. There you go, if you have genetic evidence, you're fine, you can be whatever you want. So nothing's happening to you.
Vote like a black man was hanged from a tree for protesting police violence, and police killing black men just for being black.
Oh, I'm so glad that you know who killed him. Go to the police, because they think it's suicide. Because of the fact that no bruises, no signs of a struggle, nothing was found on him. It looks like a suicide, not a lynching. And black people are not just killed for being black. Most to all of it is justified. Rushing a cop, trying to take their gun, killing yourself. It is very rare, if not almost non-existent, for all of that to happen. For a black man to get shot just for being black. And it being legal. And when we started putting cameras on cops, it started being racist. Because it showed that the blacks were doing something illegal and threatening the cops. So please stop lying. Or are you trying to interfere with the elections?
Vote like your president is a nationalist, because he is.
I guess you don't understand what a nationalist is. Your fucking source tells you what it is. And is placing primary emphasis on promotion of its culture and interests as opposed to those of other nations. That is it. A white nationalist is something else. He's not a nationalist. He's not a white nationalist. He is someone who is trying to protect the United States. And as he has said, the opposite of a globalist. Someone who takes all the other nations into account.
Vote like the term alt-right is now a household term for fascism and hate. Because it is.
If you say so.
Vote like Jewish people are being gunned down in a synagogue like it's 1939. Because they are.
There's a few things here. I think you failed to mention this person was an anti-Trump person. He thought he was helping the Jews too much. But yeah, he's anti-Trump. He's on your side. Whoopsies! But let's go with the rest of your statement. Jews are not just being shot all the time. This was one instance of it happening. Even if we assume it's because of Trump, which it's not, this just isn't normalized behavior. This doesn't always happen. We don't always hear of this.
Vote like this is the world we live in. Because it is. And if now isn't the time to get political, then it never will be.
Dude, none of this happened. None of this is the world you think it is.
Vote like you love humans. Vote like you love all humans, and you...
I will take this two ways. I do love all humans. There are some shite humans on the right and the left. But I don't love all humans. Because I want to protect others from other humans. Other humans that are bringing wars, drugs, rape, all of these which have been proven.
You believe that no one should be deported?
And people say no one wants open borders.
Or beaten or killed because of how they look, or where they were born, or who they love, or who they are.
Okay, and I will vote Republican.
Vote like you're a human.
Vote like you're a human. Vote Democrat. That's like Don Lemon. We should not demonize people, but white men are the terrorists. Damn it, man.
Vote because you love America. Because you know it's broken, and you need to be the one to repair it again. Because if you don't, nobody else will. Vote.
Well, that was quite a shitty thing. This is probably gonna be 10 to 15 minutes, maybe longer, because I had to do so much fucking research and show people why you're so goddamn wrong. That even your own sources say you are wrong. Your sources themselves say themselves are wrong, but they continue to put out the bullshit anyway. So thanks for watching, have a good day, vote, and see you in the next video. Bye.